Season 5 continues at last. Canterlot Boutique. Good? Bad? We're gonna kinda talk about it. Aren't we? This episode is about Rarity finally opening a shop in Canterlot. While the manager, Sassy Saddles, who is obviously savvy in the world of marketing and business, she puts too much emphasis on the signature dress of a line. Simple premise, but let's go a little deeper, shall we? The writing of this episode is really well done, and mirrors another Rarity episode, suited for success. From the song to even the premise in a small degree. The song did take up a great deal of the episode's screen time, but it never did feel out of place and kept the pace going. Rarity has always been a way for the writers to vent out their frustrations of being MLP writers, and have successfully done so. So then, what happens when they pull a John Jonah Jameson and almost directly mock Hasbro? Well, that's exactly what they do in this episode, using Sassy Saddles as a way to make fun of Hasbro. Or their producers. Or at least to an extent they can get away with. It was well paced, and you can tell they were having fun with this episode. Rarity symbolizing the writing staff and wanting to do something different, while Sassy represents wanting to be safe and stick to things that are easier for people to swallow. It's kind of like what Jerry said about mental disorders being portrayed as quirks. The writers want to address the problem, but Hasbro doesn't want to step out of their kid-friendly, happy-go-lucky comfort time, so they pull that back. But I digress. Back to the episode, shall we? Many are probably arguing by now whether or not Sassy is a villain to a degree, since she pretty much wanted to take over the boutique for herself. I don't really think she is a villain. She was honestly just knowledgeable about what businesses need to do to stay afloat. Though, yes, she does say that it's Sassy's boutique! Many employees, though, who truly love their job, think of the business as their own. She's been hired by so many failed businesses that she really does want this one to succeed and will do so at any cost. Something I can really relate to. I once worked at a pet shop, and the owner had said that they were having some business troubles with the location. So, knowing the area better than anyone who worked there, I told my boss about some events that were happening around town and how we could exploit them for advertising. Unfortunately, she didn't listen and the store closed from what is basically a rage quit. Within a week of me working there. So I understand Sassy's frustration, but I also understand Rarity's frustration as well. As an editor, people will want things to be a certain way or be exactly like someone else's videos, which can be a little far out of reach when you can't reach a deadline or make a certain effect happen. They can get mad or even fire you.
I said I was sorry!
Back to the invisible basement with you!
Does a tent even have a basement?
My tent is basically the TARDIS. Of course I have a basement. It's right next to the bar where I drank my sorrows away.
Well, that explains why you keep losing it.
Losing your mom? Oh yeah, she's in the bedroom.
I meant the tent!
Okay, there is one animation error, but honestly it's pretty funny. The dresses were all very stylized, and we even get some dresses that are from prior seasons, if you look hard enough. Each dress really feels like it's being inspired by whatever it was supposed to be inspired by. In fact, for a moment I thought they were taking some of the fan art for MLP dresses and stealing them. The song visuals were absolutely stunning, with everything they were doing, from the visuals of the assembly line to the dull lighting and finally the bright colors of the gems, making Rarity feel this spark of inspiration. Oh, it was so good. And then there's the internet meme Sombra's horn. Why? Why? Don't get me wrong, she's designed very well, but why? Huh, I guess that's it for visuals. Next! As I said before, this is a Rarity episode, and the writers did a really great job of portraying Rarity. She doesn't have a lot of marketing knowledge, keeping to the artistic point of view of fashion. So, when faced with a pony who has more business savvy than she does, kind of overshadows her creativity, making her feel a little out of place. Sassy is probably an employee that we can all relate to if we really love our jobs and haven't really had the greatest luck in finding a successful living in it. She's very thorough and passionate about what she loves to do, but she doesn't really realize how destructive she's being until Rarity makes her see the light. Okay, seriously, I'm just noticing how much focus on writing I do. The rules of Rarity is probably gonna be stuck in my head for the next few days, and I can see a lot of renditions in the future. The beat is really like the story itself, going from a cheerful roller coaster of happiness to a disturbing fall into disaster. And again, with another short segment! This week's lesson is a little more subtle than most of the episodes so far. That you should take love, time, and care into everything that you do, especially if you're a business. Don't make things for the masses, make things that bring you joy. It's a really nice lesson to learn and a great moral for adults and kids. Overall, I found that this was a really good episode, dealing with a lot more adult issues, which I don't limit to just mental disorders. The episode had a lot of things going for it and a lot of things going right with it. Yes, it was really well done, bringing up some differences between art and business, but in some ways it faltered because the episode showed such a all or nothing scenario, almost portraying that marketing is a bad thing, which it can be if it's only for the wrong reasons. While I do like the song a lot, to me it did feel a little long-winded at times. Like the first reprise was then smashed up with the original song too soon. There are also some lines that weren't needed, like Twilight and Pinky's exposition, but otherwise it was done really well. This has been your Future Evil Overlord, Crimson Glow, and maybe I should just stick with suits.
What have you done?